what we do is to plug the source of water into the machine. The source of water can be our tap, for example. It can also be maybe borehole water. So this is the way the machine looks like. This is the picture. The physical copy is what you can see there. Now, we have a popular saying here, and that is change your water, change your life.
So I don't know like this one blowing directly on it. It's not rotating. Yes. No, that is too much. I don't want it to get blowing here. Uh-huh. If it's rotating, fine. If it's not rotating, you can just.
You can help it now.
Uh,
On the main there, you
If
can
it's
be
not
help.
rotating, you can turn it so
well,
that.
let's make it to be the further distance.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be better.
It's about a very fun.
No, they need it, but there is too much for them, so we're trying to. Is it okay like
It's
this?
okay. It's okay.
Okay. And, okay. Please, man, if you don't mind, you can come and sit there or there. That is, I'm not sure you will see from that place. We have empty seats, that's what I'm saying. You won't see anything from there. It's okay. So, it's okay, let's maintain absolute silence and then, of course, let's keep our phone in silent mode. If you need to pick a call, you can do that outside. Quickly. So, we have a popular saying, change your water, change your life. And you're going to see what 70% of our body is made up of water. And so, if every other thing in our body, apart from water, represents only 30%, then it means that that one that is 70%, we need to make it qualitative as much as possible. So it is therefore while making the choice of the water to drink that you make a very good choice. Now, this company we are talking about, energy company, is present in different continents of the world apart from in Africa. It started from a city called Osaka in Japan, and from Japan it moved first to New York and then later back to some other part of Asia, then to Europe, and cutting across to the extent that currently we have 38 locations in 23 different countries of the world. But the good news is that it is coming to Africa, and Nigeria is most likely the location that it will be. It will be, and from Nigeria, other part of Africa will be fed. Actually, the brain behind the project is the gentleman called Mr. Oshiro. Is the one you can see at the middle there. He's already 84 years old. That's the wife by the left hand side, and then his son on the right hand side. What is actually the origin of this project? You know, you are likely to have heard of some locations in the world where people troop to go and fetch water. You know, we have it in a place, for example, in India. We have a place in Germany. We have a place in France. We have another place in Mexico. Even locally here, we have some spots in Nigeria where some people had, confirmed that they drank the water from either a cave or, some mountain, and they found that it seems the water has some healing power. It made them to be healthy, or maybe they were sick, and then after taking the water, they experienced some measure of improvement. So this is actually the origin of the project. So a group of scientists went to work. What they did was to go and take samples from all these miracle water centers, that are gotten from caves, mountains, and stuff like that. And they took it to the laboratory. And when they took it to the laboratory, they tried to analyze the water. And they found one thing that was common to all of the, water that was taken from all those various locations. And what is it that they found? They found out that it contains something called active hydrogen. that it contains something called active hydrogen. Now, when they went to work, they now concluded that if what is common to all this water is active hydrogen, and people have confirmed that it has healing power, then there must be an artificial way of replicating what we can see in those water that are coming from caves and mountains. And so a machine was created that is able to do what now? To convert our normal water from the tap, from the borehole and stuff like that, to pass through a machine, and then eventually the water will be ionized, and then you now have what we call active hydrogen, and that is exactly what we're talking about Kangen. But it goes beyond that. Now, when you just fetch the water freshly, this is the way to look. You see as if there's some bubbles or something like that inside it. Now, so this is the active hydrogen I'm talking about. Now, what is it about active hydrogen? Active hydrogen has a lot of attributes that make it to act as an antioxidant. Antioxidant. In fact, simply meaning that it can help you to reduce aging, anti-aging, and then it also has something we call negative oxidation reduction potential. We are going to explain it as we go along. Here are some examples of individuals, celebrities. Of course, millions of people are already using or drinking this water worldwide. And I would just like to pick some celebrities, in this particular place. You will see the life of Bill Gates, who was the richest man on earth for about 10 years before he was, toppled recently. Okay? And of course, you will see the life of Donald Trump, the immediate past, president of America. You even see, Barack Obama there. Both the two of them, they are always on the opposite side. But when it comes to Kangen water, they are together. All rich people now, when you are famous, you see the life of Tiger Woods there, and so on. For those of us that are sports lovers, the life of Cristiano Ronaldo and so on, they are already, living their life in partnership with Kangen machine, which actually produce Kangen water. You want to ask why? If there's not something they have seen, all of them will not have been so faithful, with the usage of Kangen water machine. It's because rich people, famous people, they also want to elongate their life. Because as soon as you stumble at money, the most likely prayer that will become the commonest in your prayer will be long life. So these people have stumbled at power and money. So now they are supporting themselves with what can elongate their life. And I hope we will also like to join them, because you need your health in order to fulfill all of your dreams. I want to do this, I want to do that. Yes, if there is life. So now, there are three unique attributes of this Kangen water. There are three unique attributes of this Kangen water. Please, I would like you, even if that's the only thing you will take home today, make sure you don't forget any of these three. The first is what we call anti-oxidizing. Anti-oxidizing. We're still going to explain this deeper. But just know when something is when you take your food, or maybe when you go to the pharmacist and they sell some what they call food supplement to you, they always tell you that some things are, they are antioxidant. One very beautiful example of antioxidant is your vitamin C. What is actually the job of an antioxidant? Each time we eat, that food that passes through our mouth goes through a pipe in quotes that is described as alimentary canal. So we have different portions of the alimentary canal, starting from the esophagus. It gets to where we call this, your stomach. From there to the duodenum, then to your small intestine before going to the large intestine. Now, after food has entered into through the alimentary canal, that's not where it is needed. It will be the major job inside the alimentary canal is for it to be digested. So after digestion, it will now be absorbed into our bloodstream, and then from the bloodstream it will now be taken into our cell. What we call assimilation, to be assimilated from the blood into the cell. And then when it now enters the cell, some processes will now take place that normally lead to the release of the things that we actually need in the body, maybe for energy, maybe for growth, maybe for rejuvenation and stuff like that. But by the time it gets to the cell, the basic thing that is happening is that chemical reactions take place. In fact, we are all everything happening in our world is a bundle of chemistry. As we are seated, chemistry, that is chemical reaction is taking place. So when these food materials, when they get into our cells, chemical reactions will take place. And even if we didn't do major science, at the little science we did, we know that we always have what we call reactants, and then we have products. When two things combine together, they are going to give rise to two, some other things. For example, when we eat carbohydrates now, that carbohydrate by the time it gets into our body, of course it will go into our body. We have eaten it as carbohydrate, but the only thing that will penetrate to our body is in form of glucose, the simplest molecule of that is coming from it. So when oxygen reacts with it, it's going to give another thing, what they call carbon dioxide and water, for example, which is the product. So it is not always what you started with that you will end with when it comes to chemical reaction. Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
So certain things are left inside our cells as residue, or what we call whichever name we want to call it, like garbage. The same way the byproduct of our digestion is the feces.
Yes.
Anything that you bring out as feces, that one didn't enter into your cell. It only pass through the pipe called alimentary canal. But the one that enter into your cell, there are also some residues, some unneeded material that come out of that breakdown. So one of such is what we call free radicals. Some things will now be left as free radicals. They will be hanging around our cell. If you don't do anything with those free radicals to get them out of your body, it will cause sickness in your body. And part of it is what leads to what we call aging. If you can have something that can be helping you from time to time to flush out all those things that look like impurities in our body, then you are going to live a very sweet life. That is, you will feel health, you will enjoy health in your body. And that is the job of antioxidant, to help us to go into our body and remove all of those hanging free radicals that are capable of causing us to age or to develop form of sicknesses. So that is the first property of that water, antioxidizing. What did I call it?
Antioxidizing.
If I thought you will forget anything, please don't forget that. Number one attribute or property of Kangen water is that it has antioxidizing property. Number two, there is what we call, it also is able to alkalize our body. Alkalizing. What is alkalizing? In again simple science, they always tell us that we have what we call acids. We also have what we call alkaline or bases. When they say base, it's actually acid and base. But the word alkaline is any form of base that is soluble. That's chemistry. But so therefore, whenever you are doing acid, bases, and salts in elementary science, there is something we normally call it pH scale. That pH scale is what helps us to measure the level of hydrogen or the level of hydrogen in any given solution. It ranges from number 0 to number 14. 7 being the midway and the neutral. Water, for example, that is water that doesn't contain any form of dissolved material. So it will be 7. And then anything below 7 is acid. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Now, the closer it is, let's know what to do with the acid. If 7 is neutral, by the time you get to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all of those, they are acid. Are we together?
Yes.
But 6 is closer to neutral, meaning that 6 is not as acidic as 5. 5 is not as acidic as what? As 4, and so on. That is, as you go at the number, the pH, figure, if it reduces, then acidity is increasing. Are we together? So that anything that measures 2 is far higher than something that measures 6, for example, even though both of them are acid. In fact, the one in 6 will be described as weak acid, and then the one that is in 2 will be described as strong acid. Now, when you cross after 7, you get to 8, 9, 10 up to 14. Of course, you know that 8 is close to 7, close to neutral. Therefore, 8 is not as strong and alkaline as 9. Yeah. 9 is not as strong as 10, and so on. That is, as you go like this, alkalinity will be increasing. Are we together?
Yes.
Therefore, what is the essence of all of this we are talking about? Now, whenever we eat, we were told of 6 dietary components. You were told of carbohydrates, protein, fat and oil, vitamins, mineral, and water. That was what we were taught in our elementary biology. Of all these 6 dietary components, 3 of them, anytime you eat them and they enter into your body, they are going to leave what we call acidic residue. Only 3, in fact 2 of them will leave what we call alkaline residue, and 1 will leave neutral, which is water. Vitamin will leave alkaline. Mineral, most of the time, will leave alkaline. But your carbohydrates, your protein, your fat will leave acid residue in your cells. Unfortunately, these 3 constitute almost 99% of most people's meal. There are some people that don't even bother about vegetable. They don't bother about fruit. It's only of the food we eat. It's only you will get alkaline only from vegetable and then from fruits. Not even all fruit, but most fruits. Therefore, each time we are eating, we are gulping all manner of things. We are creating acid in our body, and only very few components of what we eat leave alkaline residue. Now, what is the essence of what is the implication of acid in our body or alkaline in our body? I bring what look like. I won't know how to describe the news, but please note, virtually all sicknesses of man thrive. Thrive means they do well.
Survive.
They survive and do well under acidic conditions. Bacteria multiply so fast. Viruses, they rejoice when you throw them into an acidic medium. However, sicknesses hate alkaline. The 2 of them are not friends. To the extent that when you give birth to a brand new child like this, the body of that child, if you take a sample from the body, is alkaline. But when you go to old people's home, in fact, you know when you carry a little baby, there's a kind of smell you perceive from that baby. That somebody is getting old, that smell will disappear. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
But when you see extremely old people, when you go to old people's home, you will be perceiving some odor there. That odor you are perceiving is the odor of acid. Whereas the one you are perceiving in a little baby is that of alkaline. Now, should you now decide that you want to be healthy,
Yes.
all you should be doing is to see what can I do to this body to make it to be alkaline, and that is change the acidic situation of this body into an alkalinic situation. If you are able to do that, then you have captured sicknesses. I'm talking of chronic sicknesses, even cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, mentioning all of them. Even the simplest ulcer, that some of us normally have ulcer, is because you have too much of acid in your body. If there's anything you can introduce into your body that will calm down or reduce or eliminate, the quantity of acid in your body, then you have welcome. You are in romance with health. But if it's the other way around, if everything you are pumping to your body is acid, you are also in romance with what now? With sickness. It's just a matter of time it will manifest. So what then does can't get water? What does it do? It is capable of alkalizing your body, turning all of the acid in your body to make it to be alkaline. Meaning that you have waved bye-bye to all manner of sicknesses. Would that be a beautiful thing?
Yes.
So that is property number 2. Property number 3. I told you, don't let us forget. Number 1, I said, what is the first property? Antioxidant. Property number 2, alkaline. Are we okay?
Yes.
Now, the property number 3 is what we call microcluster. It has a microclustering attribute. What does this mean? What it means is this. Look at this, everyone. This is water here, isn't it? Again, you will have been told in our elementary science that no, unfortunately, the port, this happens the port, so connect it to this one. The AGM is not here. That's why we will have been using here. We're sorry, and that's why we want people to come and sit like this, so that you can sit. or should I further move this into this place?
No, it's
No,
okay.
it's okay.
Okay, so now this is water, isn't it?
Yes.
You again, you will have been told in elementary science. I know some of us didn't like science, so I'm sorry that I'm reminding you of what you don't like. But just pardon me for today. You know, but you again, you know when we're in junior class, they teach us everything, whether you want to do it or not. So that little one that they taught you, you were told that water is H2O. Is that correct?
Yes.
So H2O is a molecule that is made up of combination of atoms. So, but when you see this, do you just describe this as, is it only one H2O that we have here?
No.
It's not one H2O. We have several H2O combined together that makes this particular quantity of water we are seeing. So, and the way the H2O, the way they work, they don't work alone. They work in cluster. What did I say?
They work in cluster.
This one human being, this another human being, that's another human being. That is, if she owes another person, about 3 of us, now every time we are moving, we always move together like that. That's the way H2O are. In a typical water like this, in a typical bottle of water like this, or glass of, just mention it, about between 15 to 20 molecules always cluster together. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Between 15 to what now? 20, you know, they always cluster together.
So clustering means that they team up together.
That is,
The
yes.
lay my understanding.
Yes, yes, yes. When we say micro and macro, macro means big, micro means small. Micro means that the water that you are getting from Kangen water, the molecules, instead of them to be like the normal 15 to 20, something will happen by the time it gets through that machine that will separate them. You know, like five of us, we normally move together. They say, no, you this cluster, they just break up into two, something like that. That's exactly what is happening when it enters into Kangen water machine. Are we okay? So you are going to see this has a very serious implication when it comes to water doing its normal job. Water has a lot of job to do in our body, but two, I will remind you of two that are so crucial to this attribute. And that is, many a times you are told, eat maybe balanced diet, and you don't decide to eat what you think is balanced. But the question is that, what will determine whether what you have eaten balanced diet or not is, will the nutrients gotten from those balanced diet, will they reach the intended destination? Don't forget that the intended destination is inside yourself. Are you there?
Yes.
If you eat, it's just like you have wasted money. Because imagine you eat somebody eat and everything you excrete it out. Nothing happened. So one of the job of water, in fact, very large quantity of water is inside your blood. And it is inside the blood that your food particle will move into for it to be carried to the cell. So what now happens is that if the water is macro cluster, eventually nutrients will enter into it, but eventually it will now carry it to the surface. Let's say this is the cell. The nutrient will be carried to the surface, which is not where they are needed. They are needed inside, isn't it? They will continue to knock the door of the cell because this water in quotes, the macro is like foolish. They have carried this thing in cluster to the surface of what now of the cell. But because the cell they can't enter, it's too light to enter because the spaces available, at the surface of the cell is too tiny for about 50 molecules to enter at once, and they are not releasing themselves. So it therefore means that whatever they are carrying from source cannot reach the intended destination. But by the time you drink Kangen water, which is now micro cluster, between 5 to 6 molecules maximum, then that nutrient that has entered that type of water will get to where you have sent it. What's the essence of sending DHL from Paris to this place, and they get to this door, they knock, they can't see anybody, and then the DHL will return the parcel back to the center. That's exactly what is happening when we are drinking, all other form of water other than this. So it therefore means that whatever you eat, that nutrient will reach where you want it to reach. Meaning that sometimes many people will eat big like this, and what is reaching the intended destination is not. Which one is better? You eat like this, and this is what reach. But somebody eat like this, and everything gets to where it's supposed to go. And this attribute, it is beyond that. So the extent that when you take your drug, when you take medicine, for example, people are taking, let's say, malaria medicine now. What's the name? Lonart. Lonart comes in 6 tablets. When the pharmacists were making those tablets, they already know, because you know they have carried out one of researches to confirm of this quantity of tablet that is being introduced to the body, what is the amount required to heal the sickness in our body. Most of the time the amount required is not up to that size of the tablet they have asked you to take, but because they have carried out research over and over and find out what is actually the percentage of this tablet that reaches the intended destination, maybe they have found out that it is only 70% that reaches the cell. Therefore, anytime you need 70 gram, they will give you 100 gram. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
Because they have already made provision for 30% that will be excluded away. Now, if you are using Kangen water, we normally advise that you don't even use it to take your medicine. The reason is that it will carry 100% to where it is sent to. Meaning that if by the time you finish that 6 tablets that you were given, it will seem as if you have taken overdose. Or alternatively, by the time you are just taking 4 out of the 6 tablets, you know the job that you wanted to do will have been. You may not even live up to the kind of quantity that has been specified for you. Are we together?
Yes.
So that is the first job of water in that area of microcluster. Then don't forget, the only means of you getting rid of waste inside your cell is for that thing that will flush that waste to be able to reach where you want it to reach. So again, when you are not drinking water that is microcluster, what will simply happen is that there will be waste inside your cell, but it's not being sufficiently flushed out because what is supposed to flush it is not reaching there. So when you drink Kangen water that has microclustering property, it will reach every part of your cell, and then it will what now? It will be able to flush out everything you are supposed to flush out. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So now what we are going to do is to attempt to demonstrate what we have done, the 3 properties. Can you still remember the 3 properties?
Yes.
Let's recite them one more time.
Antioxidant,
Number 2,
alkalizing,
alkalizing. Number 3,
microclusters.
very good. Quickly, we now want to illustrate what we are talking about. We want to illustrate what we are talking about. Now, everything you have got, you just this property you want to know. I have already explained this, so I won't waste time on it again. We just want to illustrate now. Now, we still want to further explain this antioxidizing, or antioxidation property. That word oxidation simply means addition of oxygen. That's one of the definitions. It has several definitions, but that's one. In fact, that's the number 1 definition of oxidation: addition of oxygen. Another definition is what we call removal of hydrogen. This is not a chemistry class. Now, if you cut a piece of apple, like you can see here, if you leave it on this table for 30 minutes, it will begin to turn brown. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
That is explaining to you that oxidation is taking place. If we carry a basket of beautiful tomato now, we put it on this table. Ripe tomato looking so sumptuous. And we shut the door and we go for Christmas holiday and everything, and we return in January 5. Let's come and carry our tomato now. Please, it's time to prepare soup, isn't it? What will have happened to the tomato? They will welcome us with some very foul odor. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
What is it that has happened? But by the time we were leaving, we left beautiful tomato. What happened? What has happened to it? What has simply happened is that oxidation has taken place. In fact, all forms of rotting, when anything rotten, is oxidation that is actually causing it. The same way you see nails here, you pack piece of beautiful nails. In fact, before it is coated, it may take some time. Let's leave it 2-3 years time. Maybe that's too long. Come back and see those nails. They will have turned brownish. What has happened? Oxidation. Now, water. This water too will also undergo oxidation. But the only danger is that by the time it gets oxidized, it does not change color. It doesn't change smell. So many of us probably have been drinking water that is oxidized. Now, for you to understand deeply what oxidation simply means, you can help me replace that word. Anywhere you see that oxidation, just replace with aging. Something that makes you to age fast. Anything that can oxidize your body will make you to become old fast. How many of us want to get old fast? I know if you are people that are grown up, the day you see the first gray hair on your head, you don't feel good. Eh? You feel someone that it means that I'm getting old. That's what will come to you. Am I correct?
Yes.
So if it's possible, I know many of us, assuming something can happen now, that they just rewind and then take us back to age 28. We love it. Now, something close to that has come now. So what we are simply saying is that there is something that can help you to delay aging. Something that can help you to delay aging. Now, if you want to measure whether anything can cause oxidation in your body, we have an equipment we normally use to measure it. And that equipment is called ORP meter. The reason oxidation reduction potential. That is what we normally measure to know whether anything can cause us to oxidate. In fact, this tap water, this is bottled water. I really hope I'm correct. This is supposed to be Sprite, but I don't know whether they are. I hope they have not poured water inside.
Open it to show you that it's Sprite.
Okay, I think it is Sprite. Good. Then our Kangen water. Let me let me fresh it. Kangen water. So oxidation reduction potential. Let's see it now. It's here. Oxidation reduction potential. Anytime you want to measure, you have it. In fact, if you have this equipment, they give you anything to drink at home, you can check it first to know whether is it going to oxidize my body or it will prevent oxidation. That is, will it cause me to age faster? So you can now make up your mind whether you still want to go ahead with that. So we are going to see now just very shortly. But before we see it, so that in the future you might want to, get this in. Please don't forget oxidation reduction potential. On this oxidation reduction potential, when you throw that particular machine into any substance that is liquid, for example, even it can measure air, if the sign is positive, the same way when you go and check somebody whether he has HIV and they say HIV positive, what does it mean? It means that person is a carrier of AIDS virus, HIV virus, isn't it? So if you throw it onto anything and the figure is positive, it means that it will cause you to age. Are you with me?
Yes.
Of course, the larger the number, the more
faster,
aging ability it causes in your body. But if it is negative, it means that it will not help you to age. Rather, it will make you to look young. Are we okay?
Yes.
Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, if that is the situation now, let's go now. This is tap water. This is our tap water. So let's take some quantity of tap water. Okay? This is bottled water. Let's take some quantity of bottled water. Then this is our, I won't mention the name, but it's representing all the family of all those
soda.
Soda.
Let me put it there. So let me point it so that we can use it next time. Okay, so that we won't forget. Let everybody stay behind this family. Then I think this candle water, they just fetch it a bit. So let's put it there. Good. Don't forget where we started from. If it is positive, it means that it will make us to eat fast, isn't it? Okay, so this is the machine. Let me on it now. On. Okay? So this is our tap water. So what did we see there?
122.
I'm particularly interested in the positive or negative sign. Is it positive or negative? If there is nothing in front of it, it means that it's positive, isn't it? What is in front of it? Is it negative or positive?
Nothing.
And it is positive now. You don't need to.
Positive.
Okay. And if you, there's,
It's positive now. That is
it's
125.
actually more than that, but the question is that this equipment has not been used for so long. That's why I'm supposed to charge it.
But it's positive.
But it's positive. That's
Yes.
what I want. The only thing I
The
want to
figure
bring
is
out there is
positive.
positive.
Mhm.
Okay? Very good. That's tap water. Let's go to bottled water. Again. Oh, this is not charged, but all the same. What can we see positive? Don't be interested in the positive or negative. What can we see?
It's still positive.
It's what? It's positive. Okay, good. Now let's come to our Sprite. Okay. What can we see? It's what?
It's positive.
Okay. It's well. Now, let's come here. Okay. What can we see? What can we see? What can we see?
Negative.
This, if we have the time, I will shine this thing and you will see. This thing normally reach 500 negative. As you can see. Okay? Always reach over. Can you see? Don't forget where we started from. If something is positive ORP, it means that it will cause you to age, isn't it?
Yes.
But if it is negative, it means that it will make you to look younger, isn't it?
Yes.
So if I now ask you to make a choice of all of them, which one will you choose? Okay? So that is the first thing I like you to understand from it. The same thing you can use it to measure on any liquid. Quickly, we have now reached the end of our discussion on oxidation or anti-oxidation property that we have started all along of the three properties. Quickly, let's cross to acid now. For acid and alkalinity, pH range, you still remember I've explained it from the beginning.
Yes.
But there's a way to test it again. We normally use this pH tester with liquid. Anytime you pour this thing on any liquid, you know, one of the reasons why we chose transparent, somebody is that so that at least let all of them start what look like under the same condition now. All of them are transparent. Check. Whatever color it gives you here shows the level of acidity or alkalinity that is in it. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's come here. What's this? If you are confused, come here. Where can we find it?
Yellow.
Around here, Abi.
Yes.
Is this acid or alkaline?
Acid.
Eh?
Acid.
Tap water. Okay. This is our bottled water. What do we have here? Acid or hello?
Acid.
Don't forget where I started from. All manner of sicknesses take place under what? Acidic condition. Whereas if anywhere you see that word, I will remind you. Anywhere you see acid, what can you find here?
Sickness.
Acid
Sickness.
can be equated to sickness. Whereas alkalinity can be equated to what now? To
Health.
health. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, we have done the second one. Now let's do for Sprite. What can we see?
Acid.
It's even deeper, isn't it? More acidic than. In fact, anything that contains sugar is not helpful at all. Now, let's come to our candle. Let's come to our candle. What can we see in our candle? So you can see. Where can you find it?
Yes. Alkaline.
Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, all these things we are telling you, it has very serious implications. So this pH, they call it pH tester. Okay. Now, as you can see all these things now, if you decide, maybe look at the situation of our body. This tap water, bottled water. If you choose to, somebody decide to drink in addition to whatever you already have used, maybe it is tap water you are drinking. and you now choose to drink Sprite on top of it, let's see what will happen. No, okay, let's start this way. If you initially decide to be drinking Kangen, if you decide to be drinking Kangen, eh, and for example, let's say, no, let me even use this. I hope I'm not missing this. Is this Kangen?
Yes.
Sorry, we have separate bottles for the various whatever, but because let's just see what is happening here. You can see, as you are pouring it, it is helping you to move it away from acidity. Are we together? The same thing if you pour it on all this one, it will be changing it from now. But if you do it to the one that it is what now? That is mineral, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. It won't change it. In fact, to the extent that according to research, you will need 33 cups
What?
of Kangen water to be able to neutralize just this simple, the top of this.
Yes.
So to let you know how killing this soda or water free, what they call. And even as he's trying to change it like this, if you decide,
To drink
even
again.
though you now choose to drink again, you will see what will happen. Just little quantity. You will see that it will turn it back again. Are we okay? So the same thing when you do it to the other ones. So meaning that we just have to run away from all these things. So please take note of this. We go to the last one. Okay, shortly before then. Now, mommy, have you took Kangen water today?
No,
When did you take it last?
day before yesterday.
I think it's still
That's all.
one of the things it does that it makes you sleep. You are going to go. Okay, you not be. By the time you start drinking it, you will see what will happen. Now, there is this doctor, the Dama medical doctor, who some of these people that were medical doctors at the beginning of last century. To the extent that he won Nobel Prize as far back as 1931 as a result of the research that he was a part of. As at that time, cancer was, of course, cancer has been all along, but no major study have been done. So this man was part of the people that did initial major job about cancer to find out what is it that actually caused, what are the causes of cancer, and he concluded that all cancerous tissues are acidic and all healthy tissues are alkaline. A Nobel Prize winner, as far back at that time, is making this type of declaration. I'm sure you know it's something that one should take seriously, isn't it?
Yes.
Therefore, means that to prevent things like cancer in our body, we should run away from anything that is acidic, or we should embrace anything that can cause our body. Because there's no way you can run away from carbohydrate, protein, and fat. You agree with me?
Yes.
We have eaten it severally this week, and we will still eat it even today.
Yes.
Okay, my sister said even today, which is the truth.
Once
But if
I
there's anything that can be helping you to suppress his a negative impact, would that not be a beautiful one?
Yes.
It will be beautiful. Good. So now the third property, which is microclustering. You know I've explained this one before. I told you this is the way 15 to 20 molecules in ordinary water or tap water. But by the time it now become microcluster, it comes to a smaller molecule, and that is why you see the cell there. You can see it's indicating that it cannot penetrate. This big one cannot penetrate because the big one is what we have in all these bottled water. Those are few. But in Kangen water, we have the small one. So this is another doctor who is a medical, who is also a Nobel Prize winner, who actually explained this principle that this is a typical cell. You can see the micro one are able to penetrate, but the macro one, they are just hanging around the surface. Meaning that if they were carrying nutrients, they won't be able to carry it into your cell where they are needed. And not only that, they cannot go inside to go and flush out all of the terrible things that are left there. Now, here are a number of other, unsolicited testimonies, and there are a lot of people, that actually wrote one or two things here. But I will quickly look at, out of the 6 of them, let me quickly review 3 of them. Let me look at Dr. Bob Wright. Dr. Bob Wright was, for a very long time, the director of American Institute or Anti-Cancer Institute. For somebody to be a director of anti-cancer
Hello?
institute in the United
Yes,
States.
sir.
He must know what he's doing. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Do you agree
First,
with me?
launch it. First.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I don't want to cause any harm or injury to anybody. But if I ask us, who is the head of NAFDAC here in Nigeria? I love that. Do you know why I'm asking? During the time of Dora Akuile, there's nobody aware that doesn't know. You agree with me?
Yes.
You know that Dora knew what she was doing, isn't it?
Yes.
So these people are in that category of people I'm talking about. So and if Dora told you anything about NAFDAC, you must know that it was the true position. So you are going to see very shortly what he said about Kangen water. Not only that, we look at Dr. Dr. Shinya. This Dr. Shinya, you are also going to see what he said about Kangen water. This man, again, this Shinya, there's what is called colonoscopy. Colonoscopy is a procedure wherein you use it to detect whether somebody has developed colon cancer. So there is a particular equipment similar to this one. They call it colonoscope. It has an edge like this, tiny edge. But on top of that edge, there's a camera. So what they will do is that, of course, there are certain they will have given the person, you will not eat for some time. There is something they will also give to you that will make sure they flush out your inside. So they are going to insert this thing to your anus. And then the other edge here, they are going to plug it to a screen. Let us assume this is the screen. They will plug this one to a screen. And this one will be there. They will use it to look at everything that is inside your, starting from the rectum to the colon to the, big, large intestine and so on. You will be able to see on the screen everything inside. So if the person has developed cancer, they will know that. It will be confirmed right away. And of course, that test is good for everybody as you are becoming an adult age 50 plus. When you do it, because the moment you do it, you need only once in 10 years. Because colon cancer takes long time to develop. So if they certify you that you have not started developing anything now, it means that you are not likely going to develop it like that for the next 10 years. So when you are age 60 again, you can repeat it and stuff like that. So this man, Dr. Sheya, was one of the people that discovered that equipment. Then, he has performed over 3,500 colonoscopy on people. Now, sorry, I said 3,500, 350,000 colonoscopy on people. If somebody like that is talking about cancer and is also talking about Kangen water, is it somebody to be taken seriously?
Yes.
In fact, I've read his book. I have a number of his book. If you know what this man said, he said, this is just one out of the three that I bought. Now, one of the things he said is that when you come to his office as a medical doctor and you are already suffering from cancer or you are suspecting that maybe you have cancer, the first thing he gives to you is Kangen water. He has this Kangen plugged right beside his table in his office. So he gives it to drink. And then the man confirmed that he has treated a number of patients without any other thing other than Kangen water. And there will be some other food that he recommends for you to take. Without any other procedure. Nothing like chemo, just sleep. Then we look at quickly one Dr. Dave Carpenter. He wrote a book. So I hope I have a copy again. In fact, this man wrote a book on Kangen water. Oh, change your water, change your life. Oh, okay, you have it, my sister. Good.
Yes.
So these three people, if you yes, in the course of time, you will need this book as well. You can see this man, he also wrote a lot of things about Kangen. But do you now know the funny thing? All these people, they have no. In fact, let's just see. I will make somebody to read it. Let's. Now, these are some books. This is this book. You can see it. Okay. These are. I didn't bring all the books. You can see. This is the one by Dr. Wright, the director of American Institute of Cancer. Then this is one of the sample of Dr. Sheya's book. You can see the color. All these books, they are saying various beautiful things about Kangen water. Now, you will see Let's take the one of Dr. Wright. Look at my sister. Can you see? You can see from that distance. So what I want somebody to read it so that it won't be as if this highlighted something. Can you read it out? Yes, ma'am.
I believe that ionized water is a mandatory baseline requirement for those with cancer.
Beautiful. It's the man, the director of Anti-Cancer Institute of America is saying that having treated and related with all manner of people with cancer, that this is the baseline, meaning that something that should be basic in what you, if you are really looking for healing, is talking about ionized water. But he has to be very specific in, I wouldn't know whether you can, it's too tiny a bit, or can you see it?
The highlighted one.
Yes, the highlighted one only.
Said, if I were looking for an electrolysis
Unit.
electrolysis unit today,
Yes.
I would choose the SD501 made by the energy company.
Was referring to what?
Drinking water.
Don't forget, this is man was the director of American Anti-Cancer Institute. And he's saying that if he was to be in a position that is having cancer today, that what he will go for is this ionized water made by candy. Look at the man again. If I now make this statement, this is beautiful. Look at it, man. He said, it is simply what?
The
Rolls Royce.
okay, the Rolls Royce of water ionizers.
You know, one of the reasons why you didn't see a number of our team members around is that they've gone to various locations. I went to go and meet a medical doctor to do. I did this to him in his office. You know, we'll be doing. You know, initially when I started my discussion, he said, there are so many ionized water machine in the market. I just told him, sir. You know, sometimes when you think you have so much knowledge, you can. It was later. Now look at this man. At least I know that you are not senior to Bob Wright, the American, the director of American. If the man can be saying, we don't want to abeg. Sorry, eh? If this man can be saying that it is the Rolls Royce of all water ionizers, you know, I'm sure we know what Rolls Royce is. Let me tell you, it does not matter whatever car you are riding on the road. If a Rolls Royce overtakes you, you look at that direction. You agree with me?
Yes.
Is the king of cars. Hello? Eh?
Yes.
So, this particular man is saying, this is the king. This is the KBAC of all water ionizing, machine. Are we okay?
Yes.
So, I'm not the one that said it, but somebody that is high up there. Now, for us to know that it is, there are some people, because I've seen it, it's very popular here in our country. Some of these guys you call celebrities. They are not even using techno phone, but you come and now use them to come and be doing like this with techno. I think that's what they are using. Those ones, they call them paid advert. What do I call it?
Paid advert.
Now look at what this man wrote. Man, you do this one last thing for us.
I have no financial interest
Uh-huh.
in the energy company,
Yes.
nor do I receive any remuneration for my recommendation.
Okay. This man, just like the others, is quickly declaring, my integrity is at stake as the director of American Anti-Cancer Institute. If I'm saying something, I'm not saying it because I am a member, maybe I'm one of the members of the board of director or whatever of the company. He said, no. He said, I am doing this thing because as my own service to humanity to let them know the truth. You know, there are some people, they know the truth, they keep it so that they can be using it to exploit others. This man has to open up. He said, I am not receiving any financial benefit. This thing will distract us. That I'm not receiving any financial benefit for so saying. So please take note of that. Now again, this is Dr. Shinya. This one, he said, Kangen water is alkaline rich water, and is considered the very best drinking water because of its incomparable powers of what? Hydration, detoxification, and then what now? Anti-oxidation. Of course, the page is also quoted and so on. So these are other books. Beautiful. This man, every book he writes, every book, and I bought a number of books. he always dedicate one chapter. One chapter in his book will always be on Kangen water. One chapter in his book will always be on Kangen water. All the books that the man has written. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm showing you all of this so that you know you can what now? Okay. I want to go to the next. Where is the first objective person? Has a lot of certifications or pictorial representation, you know, of what it was and what it eventually became. You will see picture of somebody that was having inflammation and what happened after the person took Kangen water maybe consecutively for 3 months. You will see somebody that had just undergone chemo. You know, usually when somebody undergoes chemotherapy, both the healthy cells and the damaged cell will be affected by that chemo. So you will see when in fact we've asked some of our sisters that had gone through chemotherapy that have been coming physically here and see their beautiful testimony after using Kangen for some time. But there's one sister like that, by the time she first started coming, her hair was still very much down because she had just finished undertaking chemo, you know. Now, after taking this water for some time, you see all the beautiful testimonies. Personally, when I first started taking Kangen, my own observation was the way I sleep. Because when you take Kangen, your sleeping pattern will change. Not that you will not wake up until 9 a.m. and go late to your work. That's not what I'm saying. But that's what I call quality of sleep. You know, there are some of us when we sleep, everybody that walk around our house will see, even though you are sleeping, but you are still hearing. Not this one. You will sleep like, when they say somebody sleep like a little baby, that you sleep deeply and everything happening around you are not aware until you wake up. When you wake up, and not like there's people that use sleeping drug. When you wake up, you still your head will be as if it's empty and all of that kind of thing. No, you are going to feel energized and strengthened by the time you wake up. That's one of the. Then people that are having ulcer, if you take Kangen consistently, you won't need any ulcer drug again. Because don't forget, what is causing is actually acidity in your stomach. So by the time you take it regularly, you don't discover in all those beautiful testimonies. In fact, sir, just mention it. Even weight loss. If you know anyone, one of the person presenting here, we knew each other fat before now. He used to be very fat. But when he started taking this Kangen, he has come down. So many of us that have been battling with all manner of them, you want to come down, please partner with Kangen. And you see, in fact, a testimony was shared of somebody that this Saturday there is one big meeting we normally hold, once in 2 months or so. We call it TKW. Somebody, one of the people that came there, shared a testimony on behalf of a relative. So all these things just came into Nigeria like 4 months or so ago. And just within that period, so he took sample of this Kangen, just like people have been coming to fresh air. So he actually took it to one of the relatives that was having an issue, I think, with cancer. But there's another one. That one has chronic, I think, what they call diabetes. And then they now needed to amputate his leg. He was waiting for the yes, the amputation. I think the charges is about maybe yes. Can you imagine how somebody is asking you to come and pay money to cut your own leg? While waiting, that was when this water came. And this person started taking this water. After taking it consistently, maybe for a period of 3 weeks, the person that could not stand up and now started walking and is doing, in fact, the person is whole and active now. No need for amputation again. Can you imagine how joyful that kind of a person would be? And that is exactly what we are telling you when we are talking about, can get water. Are we okay?
Yes.
Are we okay? So the same thing, we have all these forms of, testimonies everywhere. In fact, if you read any of these books, there is always a chapter at the back that will be meant for what now? That will be meant for like testimonial of people. It's always very big. Just like you are reading some of the churches' bulletin, where the people's testimony are read there. That's when you will see all manner of you will see all manner of testimonies like that will be shared. Now, the question is, everybody is talking like this. Sorry, I'm trying to repower this our system that's angry. Now, I add this one. We now have certification. After when you are doing well, you begin to receive all manner of award and certification left and right. Kange has all manner of awards. But out of the numerous awards, I will isolate 3. Long list. The first one, on this earth where we are today, number one, the country that you have the people that live the longest is Japan. Average life expectancy in Japan is over 70 years. I think about 73 years. And in Japan, all hospitals in Japan, they are non-profit. Whether it is owned by private or you are not supposed to make profit. Their Ministry of Health is one of the most disciplined and serious and, of course, very strict worldwide. They don't joke with anything that when it comes to health. Now, I bring the good news to you that Kangen water machine has received certification from the Ministry of Health of Japan, certifying this machine as something you should partner with. That's the first out of the numerous certificates I want to isolate. The second one I want to isolate. There is a particular body worldwide, just like in Nigeria, you have what called current, which is actually the body that certifies somebody as a certified engineer. There is a body worldwide that certifies medical equipment. That is, if you make any equipment and you are saying that you want to use it either to carry out tests or whatever, or human being, there is a particular body that gives certification, and they call that certificate ISO 1345. Now, if you win that particular certification, it means that whatever device you have put down is regarded as top quality medical equipment. Now, I have the good news to tell you that Kangen water machine has also received that certification. I think we should clap for energy company. Beautiful. Then there is another body. That body, they certify water worldwide. In fact, there is what we call the highest award for people that are in that industry is called gold certification. Now, I also bring the good news to you that energy company has also received that certification, the gold certification award. So I think we should get clap for energy company. Okay. So this I've shown you all this one, or I've mentioned all this one for you to know that we are not talking of a company that is just one company there that is, we follow tomorrow. Now, okay, maybe I should start from there. Quickly, all of those things I've mentioned, I'm trying to show you. This is a sample of, sorry, you can't see it now. Somebody that was suffering from inflammation after 3 months of continuous usage. Look at what has happened. This was somebody that was having chronic cancer. This is the picture. Now, after taking, Kangen consecutively for 3 months, look at the picture. Now, again, look at somebody that has undergone chemo. look at the color of the skin. After consistent post chemotherapy usage of Kangen water, look at what has happened in 3 months. Then I will come back to this. Okay, I'll come back to all this, but I was telling you about the certification I have. I told you of the numerous certificates, long list of the certificates. Then, of course, I isolated these two, the one of Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health of Japan, and then the one of